With 99 Willie Mays and Hank Aaron coming out recently, I've heard a lot of comments of people not enjoying their cards for some reason. I mean, you look at the attributes of them, they are definitely top tier end game level cards, but there's something else happening that's making people not like these cards. And if you were to ask me, I think the number one thing is their swings. Their motions of their swings are causing some people to not do as well with the cards. So why would this really be the case? If you have a card with really good attributes, they should play well. But unfortunately, that isn't always the case. A lot of times the swing motions and things that players do with their swings can get in our own heads and intrinsically cause us to do worse with them. So what we're gonna do today, let's look at a side by side of some of the more liked swings of players versus the not liked ones. Try to make an argument on what people like and dislike typically with swings, and try to pick up on any trends of things you should be looking for when adding players to your God squads. Let's get into it. So I made two separate teams. I have a team of players that had typically disliked swings from what I've seen, and on the other hand, a team of players that are very popular in terms of their swings. And the way I kind of chose these teams, swings of players that are liked, typically these are players that are maybe a little lower attribute wise than some of the best in the game, but people still use over time because they do well with them despite the lower attributes, which is likely being because they are squaring up the balls of them consistently. They have a good feel of that player's swing. So guys like Live Series Mike Trout have been used basically all year for people. Yet his attributes, I mean, they're very good, but they aren't as good as some of the best cards in the game, yet people are still using him. Guys like Cedric Mullins, Trey Turner, there are better options at these positions that they play, but people still use them to this day because they like their swings. On the other hand, there are some other players that aren't like 99 overall players that I don't see used enough, don't see used often, and those other players you mentioned are seeing more teams than these players, but all of these players have end game attributes. They are some of the best players we're going to get in the game. Guys like 99 Tim Anderson, Alfonso Soriano, Mike Piazza, dudes that have really good attributes, but something is causing people to not want to use them, and typically it is the swing and the motion of their swing. So I made two separate teams, and I have this little video here of me putting in some swings. Let's try to pick up on some trends, try to notice if there's anything that could cause any sort of dislike or preference in a certain swing. So here is a little video. What I encourage you to do, watch this video once. I'm not going to add any of my input. The first half of the video is the dislike players, the players who have swings that people seem to not like. And then the second half of the video are the swings of players that apparently are more preferable in their swings. And I recommend just watching it, try to pick up on your own trends, try to see if you notice anything yourself, and then comment right after watching it what you think. See if you notice anything in these swings that people like or dislike before you even hear any of my reaction to it. And I would love to pick up on any sort of things that you guys ascribe in the comments. All right, so let's get the video started. So this is the not liked players. Look at their motions. Look at their swings. Look at how their body move. See if you notice anything yourself on what is similar or different between each of these swings, because a lot of these swings are players that, you know, have end game type swings, type attributes, but something in their swings seem to keep them out of people's lineups, or at least they aren't in as many lineups as they could be in, because these guys are very solid players. And on the other hand, these are our other players, the players that seem to have more favorable swings, the players I see used very often despite the attributes, players at the high level of the game like these players' swings I have found. I'm trying to see if you notice anything again with their motions, with things that they are doing at the plate that all follow a similar trend. See if you notice any sort of differences, and let me know in the comments section if you actually notice anything. Just from looking at it a second time here, I could pick up on a lot of these trends. I'm going to keep this video on loop, keep it playing basically. So I think it's logical to start off by the most liked players. What things do people seem to like out of swings? And looking at guys like Cedric Mullins, Mike Trout, JT Realmuto, Trey Turner, their loads of their swings are very similar. They have a high leg kick. It's a smooth leg kick. They aren't very wonky with their leg gently goes up. It's a high visible leg kick, but the rest of their body stays pretty, like, not crazy. Their body doesn't lean back or forth anyway. They just kind of move their leg and lean a little back. which seems to be easy to pick up with the timing of the swings. It's also, like I said, smooth. They aren't doing anything quirky or funky. They just kind of lift their leg up, maybe move their hands a little bit, and that's really it. Their bodies aren't really moving back and forth. Then there are other players like Vlad Jr., who really doesn't have a crazy leg kick, but he just has an early load. He loads up his swing. He's tapping his foot really early on in the pitcher's motion. And then guys like Hannes Wagner and Tyler O'Neill and Francisco Lindor kind of have more subtle steps and strides, but they aren't distracting. It's all one smooth motion, you know? They kind of just like, they subtly lean back and then just swing through the ball. It's nothing too distracting, and it seems pretty basic. In terms of the things that people don't like, looking back at these swings again, the things that I noticed, we have players like Willie Mays and Soriano. Their bodies kind of jerk, you know? Looking at their swings, they kind of like lean and do some weird things with their bodies, which I think would be an easy distraction with timing. It would be something that I could guess gets in people's heads when they're trying to, you know, play at the higher level of the game where you got to really catch up to those high-speed fastballs, because that's a little bit of a distraction, I would say. It's like Hank Aaron, he is almost like Willie Mays, but he kind of floats his foot in. He like moves his foot back and forth, and it like floats his body in, and I could see that initial load of his swing kind of being a little bit of a distraction. It's weird how he like lifts his foot off the ground. Frank Thomas like slams his foot into the ground. Like, if you look at Frank Thomas and his swing, he has a similar type stride and load to like a Trey Turner, Mike Trout type player, but it's very dramatic. He lifts his leg up quick, and then he just like slams his foot back into the ground, and it's not like it's like his whole body stays still, but he lifts up his leg. It's really weird. And like also he has a big strike zone, which could be a factor as well. And then guys like Piazza and Schmidt, they really don't have much of a motion at all. They just gently lift up their leg and then lean into the ball. And it seems like they load very late. Their bodies don't really move until the pitch is at a certain point, and I could see that definitely getting into people's heads with the timing. And then finally, a guy like Tim Anderson, it seems like his leg, almost like Hank Aaron, he kind of glides into the zone. His leg is off to the side and just kind of glides in. And it seems like it's weird to time it up in comparison to some other players that people like. So I know I just rambled on a good bit about these swings, and it's kind of difficult to pick up on some of these trends, but if you were to ask me what is the main point of this, what is the main thing you should be looking for in a swing that in general most people like, it seems like people want smooth swing motions. They don't want to do anything that's really distracting or dramatic. They just want like a smooth high leg kick that they could see that is loaded up early in the pitch, so it feels like that player is ready to swing at all times. In comparison to someone like, for example, Mike Piazza, he kind of just stands there for a while. It feels like he starts his swing motion later, so it feels like people may not be as ready to swing the bat with him because of that motion at the side. And it seems like most of the swings that aren't like, they have at least one thing in their motion that makes people not like. It could be a slight thing that's a distraction, or something that could maybe play some mind games on people when trying to get good timing down with swings. What is the one thing you should take out of this video that, you know, you should apply to setting up your own teams? Try to look for trends in swings in players you like. I mean, there's a reason people like Trey Turner, Mike Trout, JT Realmuto a lot. Their attributes aren't the best ever. You know, Trey Turner lacks defensive attributes. Realmuto and Trout definitely are outclassed in their positions, but people really do well with their swings. They have some sort of comfort in their swings, and they square up the ball consistently. If a swing motion has some distraction or things in it that mess with you and how you hit, then the reason that you're not hitting well with them isn't because, say, a card sucks or anything like that, because the attributes are there. It's just that maybe the swing motion is causing your timing to be off. You got to look for a player that maybe has a swing motion similar to a player that you like, players that you do well with. Try different things. See what works for you. Let me know in the comments section as well. Which swings do you really like? Who are some of the players in the game that have your favorite swings? See, I disproved a while back that swings are different lengths and everyone has the same timings for their swings. It's just that certain motions seem to distract us. And I went more in depth on this in the video a while back. If you want to watch that up here. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know we didn't talk about the most here, but I hope what you did learn from this video is valuable. It's helping you set up your end game teams. We got a lot of stuff inbound in the near future, like Team Affinity 5, more postseason cards, and a whole lot of other players to try. So this is always good information to know when choosing players on your team. You guys have a great rest of your day. I'll see you again on a video later this week. I'll talk to you then. Deuces.